There is something sitting in millions of kitchens right now, something most people over 60 eat almost every single day. And what it is doing quietly to your heart is something your doctor may have never explained to you in plain language. Now, I want to be very clear from the start. This is not about scaring you. This is not about making you feel guilty for the choices you have made. This is about giving you the kind of honest, practical information that helps you make smarter decisions starting today. Because when it comes to your heart after 60, small daily choices carry far more weight than most people realize. So stay with me, because what you're about to learn could genuinely change the way you think about what you put on your plate every morning. To understand why certain foods become far more dangerous after 60, we first need to talk about what happens to the heart as we age. Your heart is a muscle, a powerful, tireless muscle that has been beating for your entire life without taking a single day off. But like any muscle that works hard for decades, it changes over time. After 60, the walls of the heart tend to thicken slightly. The blood vessels lose some of their natural flexibility. The arteries, those critical highways that carry blood to and from the heart, begin to stiffen in ways that simply do not happen in younger years. This means that the heart has to work harder to push blood through the body than it did when you were 40. And when you add the wrong foods on top of an already harder working heart, the risk starts to climb in ways that are completely silent until they are not silent anymore. Now here is where most people get confused. When doctors and health educators talk about heart-damaging foods, the conversation usually goes straight to saturated fat, butter, red meat, cheese. And while those are absolutely worth paying attention to, there is one category of food that research now shows is actually more dangerous for the aging heart than saturated fat, and that is heavily processed food loaded with industrial trans fats and, even more critically, excess added sugar. But within that category, there is one specific food type that stands out as particularly harmful for adults over 60. That food is the commercially processed, highly refined cooking oil, specifically the partially hydrogenated vegetable oils that find their way into packaged snacks, fast food, margarine spreads, and countless prepared foods lining grocery store shelves. Let me explain what makes these oils so problematic in a way that actually makes sense. When food manufacturers take a liquid vegetable oil and add hydrogen to it under high pressure and heat, a process called hydrogenation, they create what are known as trans fatty acids. Now, your body has no good biological mechanism for handling industrial trans fats. They are essentially foreign molecules that your body was never designed to process. When you consume them, they do something that saturated fat does not. They simultaneously raise your LDL cholesterol, which is the harmful type, while lowering your HDL cholesterol, which is the protective type. That double blow to your cholesterol balance is deeply damaging to the cardiovascular system. And the effect is significantly more pronounced after 60 because the natural decline in metabolic flexibility that comes with aging means your body is slower to clear these harmful fats from your bloodstream. But the problem goes even deeper than cholesterol. Research published in leading cardiovascular journals has shown that industrial trans fats actively promote inflammation inside the arterial walls. Think of your arteries like a garden hose. When they are healthy and flexible, blood flows through them smoothly and easily. When inflammation takes hold inside those arterial walls, it is as if the inside of that garden hose is slowly roughening up and developing small cracks. The body responds to this damage by sending repair compounds, including a type of cholesterol called LDL-SAR, to patch those rough spots. Over time, those patches build up into what we call plaque. And plaque in the arteries is what sets the stage for heart attacks and strokes. Now imagine that process happening every time you eat a handful of packaged crackers or a serving of commercially fried food. Every single time, slowly, quietly, without any symptoms at all until there is a crisis. Here is something that surprises many people when they first hear it. You might be thinking, well, I have heard that trans fats were banned. And that is partly true. In 2018, the United States Food and Drug Administration did require manufacturers to phase out the addition of partially hydrogenated oils to food products. Other countries have followed with similar regulations. But here is what the food labels are not telling you clearly enough. If a product contains less than half a gram of trans fat per serving, manufacturers are legally allowed to list the trans fat content as 0 on the nutrition label, 0. And those servings are often deliberately sized smaller than what a real person actually eats in one sitting. So someone who eats 2 or 3 servings of a packaged snack food can easily be consuming a meaningful amount of trans fat while the label confidently reads 0. For someone over 60 whose arteries are already under greater stress, that hidden exposure matters. So what does this food actually look like on the shelf? This is where we get practical. The foods most likely to still contain harmful partially hydrogenated oils, despite modern regulations, include commercially prepared microwave popcorn, stick margarine, and certain vegetable shortening products, packaged cookies and crackers, especially those with long shelf lives, commercially fried foods from fast food restaurants and certain prepared food counters, non-dairy coffee creamers, and certain frozen prepared meals. The single most reliable way to identify these products is not to look at the trans fat line on the nutrition label. Instead, look directly at the ingredients list. If you see the words partially hydrogenated followed by any type of oil, put that product back. Those three words, partially hydrogenated, are the clearest warning sign available to you in any grocery store in the world. Now, I want to address something important because I hear this concern from many people over 60. I have been eating this way for 40 years and my heart has been fine. And I understand that. I truly do. The challenge is that cardiovascular damage is cumulative and quiet. The arteries do not send you a signal when they are under stress. There are no warning lights on your dashboard. The process of arterial plaque buildup can happen slowly over years and even decades without producing a single symptom. This is precisely why heart attacks are so often described as coming out of nowhere. They do not come from nowhere at all. They are the final result of a long, silent process that could have been interrupted at many points along the way. After 60, you are in a critical window where the choices you make right now carry enormous power to slow that process down or speed it up, and removing this one category of food is one of the most direct ways to use that power. Now let us talk about what to do instead, because good health information is never just about what to take away, it is always equally about what to add. When you remove processed oils from your diet, the most heart protective replacements are the ones that human beings have been using for thousands of years. Extra virgin olive oil is the most well-studied heart protective fat in the world. The Mediterranean diet, which uses olive oil as its primary cooking fat, has been associated with dramatically lower rates of heart disease in study after study. Avocados and avocado oil provide similar monounsaturated fats that actually help raise your protective HDL cholesterol. Small amounts of real butter from quality sources are far less damaging to the aging heart than processed margarine. Nuts, particularly walnuts, almonds, and pistachios, provide healthy fats alongside fiber and plant compounds that support arterial health. And fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines deliver omega-3 fatty acids that actively reduce arterial inflammation. These are not trendy superfoods. These are time-tested, evidence-supported foods that your heart genuinely knows how to use. There is one common mistake that many well-meaning people over 60 make when they try to eat more heart-consciously, and I want to save you from it. When people see the word low-fat on a food package, they often assume it is heart-healthy, but many low-fat processed foods simply replace the fat with sugar and refined carbohydrates, both of which trigger inflammation and contribute to the same arterial damage as trans fats, sometimes worse. A low-fat cookie is not a health food. A low-fat flavored yogurt loaded with added sugar is not protecting your heart. The goal is not to avoid all fat. The goal is to choose the right fats and to avoid the processed industrial fats that your body was simply never built to handle. Real, whole foods, even those with natural fat content, will almost always serve your heart better than a processed product engineered to seem healthy. Now, when should you speak with your doctor? If you have already been diagnosed with high cholesterol, high blood pressure, coronary artery disease, or if you have a strong family history of heart disease, everything we have discussed today is especially relevant to your situation. Bring this information to your next appointment. Ask your doctor specifically about trans fats in your diet and about your LDL and HDL cholesterol balance. Ask whether your current diet may be contributing to inflammation. These are not difficult conversations. They are exactly the kind of proactive conversations that allow you to partner with your healthcare team rather than simply react to a crisis. And if you are experiencing any symptoms such as chest discomfort, unusual shortness of breath, heart palpitations, or unexplained fatigue, please do not wait for your next routine appointment. Reach out to your doctor now. The bottom line is this: your heart after 60 is not a lost cause. It is a resilient organ that responds to the care you give it. Removing partially hydrogenated oils from your daily routine, reading ingredient labels with new attention, replacing processed cooking fats with olive oil and whole food sources. These are not dramatic overhauls. They are small, sustainable shifts that accumulate into genuine protection over time. Your arteries cannot tell you when they are struggling, but you now have the knowledge to advocate for them every single time you sit down to eat. I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Have you started reading ingredient labels more carefully? Have you already made a switch away from processed oils? Tell me what has worked for you, and let us know where in the world you're watching from. The more we share what works, the stronger this community becomes. And if someone you care about is over 60 and still eating from those processed food packages every day, share this video with them. It could be one of the most important things you do for them today. Take care of that heart. It has been taking care of you your entire life.